Awesome, everybody, welcome. Let's just do a meditation to get started, then we'll talk about how it's set up. So go ahead and close your eyes, unless you are driving. So go ahead and close your eyes and just take an exhale and settle into your chair. Inhale, allow your belly to rise. Exhale, let your shoulders soften. Inhale, open your heart to tonight's class. Exhale, leave the day outside the door. Inhale, belly lifts. Exhale, belly falls. As a group, exhale together all at once. And inhale for 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep a low, slow flow of breath going in and out, allowing my words to become background and allowing your breath to be the foreground. Breathe in, belly lifts. Breathe out, belly falls. Bringing all of your energy here today. We all had somewhat busy days. I call it collecting your energy. So imagine you start at the beginning of your morning. You went through all of the big things that happened during the day. Maybe you saw some friends, cooked some meals, hung out with people. Typically, when we do that kind of stuff, we deposit energy with other people. So imagine yourself going back through your day and collecting the energy back. Just like a little bunny rabbit carrying a basket. There you go. On each breath, collect the energy. There you go. Do about 5 or 10 deep breaths, collecting your energy. Rooting yourself into your chair. Feeling Mother Earth support you. And feeling your breath guide you through tonight's class. Now, you may or may not know what I'm talking about right now in the next sentence. If you don't worry about it. We'll get to it later. But bring in your divine support team. That's your guides, your angels. We'll be talking about it through tonight's class. But especially focus on your female goddess energy. And again, if you don't know what we're talking about, we will talk about it. So bring in all of your female support team, whoever you might believe in, and just breathe. A few of you don't know it, but a lot of you have brought in your grandmothers, your moms, your great-grandmothers, your ancestors. I can just feel how much love is in this container right now. Now, in the last few breaths, imagine, sense, see, or feel all of us standing together in a group. We're standing in a beautiful place in nature, holding hands, connecting with our breath, connecting hand to hand, connecting in unison, and feeling the energy go back and forth. One more exercise. Imagine us as a circle, and now imagine you holding hands with the person next to you that you may or may not even know. And with your right hand, imagine you giving your energy to the person next to you. And see it go around the circle. Now with your left hand, imagine yourself receiving energy from the person on your left-hand side. So literally give energy out your right hand. There you go, beautiful. And receive it coming with all this love in your left hand. Belly lifts and belly falls. Soften your neck. Deepen your breath. Soften your hips into your chair. When you're ready, roll your shoulders back, move your neck if you wish, stretch a bit. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming back. Hi, everybody. Really, really awesome work. Thank you you guys went super deep meditating in 4.5 minutes. You guys did great. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We're going to introduce ourselves in a second. But before we do that, I just want to give you the lay of how we're going to work here, just for your brain. So your left brain goes, okay, I know what's going on. You may or may not be able to see depending on what device you are on, but the three of us are spotlighted. So our 3 videos are large and y'all are on little cameras and you might not be able to see each other depending on what device you're on. And we've set it up this way so that this class is being recorded. And so for the first 45 minutes to an hour or so, the three of us goddesses will be teaching. Then for the last 15 to 20 minutes, depending, we'll be doing Q&A. And at that Q&A, we can make everybody big, unmute yourselves, all that stuff. But this way your videos aren't on the recording that may or may not go to YouTube or be shared with somebody you don't know. And so it just protects your privacy. That's why we're doing it this way. And when you do type in comments or questions, we won't use your name if you don't want us to. We'll just read your comment or question. And we are doing a formal Q&A at the end. So if you want to leave all your questions to the end, that would be so awesome because it would help us to ride the rhythm of the class. So what I'll get my co-goddesses to do is introduce themselves. So who wants to start? When do you guys start? And I'll go last.
Go ahead, Teryl.
Hey everybody, I'm Teryl. It's so great to see all of these faces, even if they are in little tiny boxes. I am a graduate of the ICT course, which is Intuitive Coaching Training, which Dr. Divi here facilitated along with Lynette Brown. Sharon will probably tell you the same. She's also a graduate. But this work is something I've been doing, when I think about it, forever. It's just now really bringing it into the next level. And it's such a joy to be here and to have people who are receptive to it and to be of service. It's just, I cannot tell you how rewarding it is and so gratifying. I also am an actor by trade. It's what I've done my entire life. And in a way, that's also a form of giving, right? Giving back by being part of a storytelling process. So I sort of think of this as moving along as far as the story goes. So I'm really happy that you're all here with us this evening and really excited. I hope you go home today with some yummy stuff. Sharon?
Thanks, Teryl. Hi, I'm Sharon Storoschuk, and I am a graduate of the ICT program as well. I've been doing this work full-time now for about 2 or 3 years, and I'm an intuitive coach. I run a women's group. I teach and pretty much live and breathe all of this. And it's interesting because I was just telling Divi and Teryl that I started doing this work with a woman named Anne-Marie Wright, who, I went to women's groups for 8 years every week. And so I feel like this is part of who I am, and I've kind of embodied the work. And when I hold my women's groups, it's all around the divine feminine. And so sometimes I have a hard time sort of going, okay, what is it about the divine feminine that I bring into my everyday life? Because when you start to really step into this work, it becomes who you are. And that's why I love teaching it, because when we become the goddess and we become the divine feminine, it's like we forget how it used to be, right? We forget how it is to be sort of in that patriarchal world. So I'm really excited to be teaching and sharing and being in this with everyone here, because we all dip into the goddess in some way. We just sometimes don't realize it. So I'm excited.
And hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Divi, whatever you want to call me. My background, really briefly, is I went from family medicine, practiced and taught yoga and ran some studios for about 10 years. And then very accidentally stumbled into my intuition about 18 years ago. It was when I was pregnant with my son, who turned 17 this weekend. And so it was 18 years ago. And I didn't know there was even something called intuitive courses. I didn't even know there was something called an intuitive coach. And I went and took some intuition courses because I would just know things. And my husband would say to me, God, your knowing is really high. And as those of us who are mothers, which is everybody to some degree on the call, you know that especially in parenting, you use your intuition a lot. Anyways, did some intuition courses, never thought I would do anything with it. And I did it just for myself to be a better mom or whatever. Then I started working with a coach, Lynette Brown, who's now my business partner, who I teach ICT with. And she really encouraged me to start intuitive coaching. I was like, oh no, I'm fine. Because I'd gone from medicine to yoga back to medicine. And I knew I didn't want to do medicine again, but I just didn't know what was next. And so she was really encouraging me. And I started coaching about 12 years ago, and then have been exclusively coaching for about 7 years. And I love it. And I also teach classes like ICT and lots of other courses. And just really briefly, if you follow me for a little while, you've seen I've moved from things and taught different things over the years. The thing about the divine feminine is it's like an encompassing of almost everything I've taught, but it's using words and terminology that are really like, you can grab it. Like one of the most common things I say to people is, what if you just allowed? What if you just let go? And people look at me like, are you like, sorry guys, I might swear, effing kidding? How do I do that? And when you actually start to embrace the goddess energy, which we're going to do tonight, it's actually in your DNA and your ability. It's in who you are. So we're going to practice and play a lot tonight. And I love this topic. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So watch out. I hope you have your seatbelts on. If you have a pen and paper, that's awesome. If not, just something you can write on, or if you're in the car, I get it. But we're going to be doing some journal prompts and that kind of stuff. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for showing up live. It means the world to us for taking an hour and a half of your time. So thank you. So I think how we're going to start is, Teryl, you're going to start us off. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, go for it.
So we were talking about the goddess energy and what it is. When we talk about the goddess energy, it's the feminine energy or the feminine essence, if you prefer. But it doesn't mean you have to be a woman in order to experience that. I mean, there is the male and the female energy in everything. But right now in our world today, we tend to be, if these are the scales, the paternal is up here, right? So we are out of balance and we're feeling it. I think each and every one of us are feeling it in some way. Now, if we were to go back to, 2 million years ago during the Paleolithic time, it was a maternal society. So goddesses were worshipped and it was more women or feminine centered. So there was all of the stuff that you're going to learn tonight and over the next 9 weeks, with what embodies the feminine is what sort of the balance was in that direction. And then there was a time, and that went on until about 3000 BC. And during that time, there was a number of cultures that was part of what they call the gynocratic cultures. So it was at a time before paternity was even discovered. And women were revered because they were magical, they were mysterious, because they were producing life, right? And what they thought at that time was that women were like trees in the sense that they would bear fruit when they were ripe. And that went on for some time. And there was an article I read, and this was Gloria Steinem in 1972. And I think that went on for about 5,000 years. And she mentioned that when paternity was discovered, when it was brought to the forefront that, it's through sexual encounter, everything changed. And she used the word cataclysmic. And that's when the balance all started to shift. Everything started to shift. If you go back into stuff we've learned in school and the whole history, and when women did try to find that place again, that nurturing and the, we were herbalists, and when they tried to do all of that, we were condemned for it, right? So it's about bringing everything back into balance. And as Divi so eloquently put earlier on, through these 9 weeks, we are going to be bringing up the different goddesses because they reflect where we're at. So right now, with the way the world is, there just seems to be, we tend to be focusing so much more on the lack that we, oh God, I wish I could go and travel somewhere. Oh, I can't get what I want because there are issues with, transport and products are not coming in. So that whole experience of lack. And instead, what we want to do is find that abundance. So then we would bring in Goddess Lakshmi, which is all about abundance. And when we talk about abundance, it's not necessarily just about the money or the wealth. It's the abundance of what we have. It's the abundance of the love. It's the abundance of health. And I mean, there's just, I could go on and on and on, which we will during the 9-week course, right? And then who here hasn't had at one point in their lives a really shitty kind of relationship, right?
Oh, no, I had one.
So it happens. We have that. So then what are you going to do? Well, we will discuss the whole relationship. And then, of course, bring to the forefront would be Goddess Aphrodite, who is all about love. And she's all about beauty. And she is all about sexual love. And we have some stories. We were talking about the mother, even if you don't have children, we've all experienced that what the essence of the mother goddess is. We define her not necessarily in a religious aspect, but Mother Mary goddess, which is compassion and it is forgiveness, and it is unconditional love. So we'll be bringing that up. And I mean, it goes on and on and on. So there's so much to learn, and it'll be nice to reflect and bring that goddess back in. And again, if any men were to join us, or if they end up actually are signed up and they're going to look at this recording, this affects you as well. It's the masculine, the feminine in all of us. And how many times, you know, we've seen people, I know people where they've gone, oh, no, the boy, you can't cry. You're the man, you're the boy. You have to have that stiff upper lip. And that's been squelched. The feminine energy has been squelched in, you know, the male energy as well. So that's sort of the stuff that we're going to be looking at. And we'll be, as we say, taking questions as we go along, formal questions at the end. Please feel free to hit the chat, and you can also put stuff in there. But did you have, Divi, Sharon, did you guys have anything more you wanted to add to that?
Well, that was great, Teryl. I just wanted to just add that we did a workshop on the last weekend, and
Yes.
we had one male show up. And for me, it was such a gift to see a man sort of step into doing this work, because we all have mother issues, you know, men and women, we all have relationship issues, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, inviting the male into the conversation was a gift for me, just to be around that and see that, and just reaffirm how important it is for the men and for me to talk to the men in my life about the goddess, the divine feminine, because sometimes we also hold it close to us and protect the goddess and the divine feminine and forget that the men also have that part. And so it's to dance together with it. So that's all.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Should I jump in there?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, Teryl, thank you, Teryl, for that introduction. It's really helpful to understand, guys, that once upon a time on the planet, things were more matriarchal driven. And, you know, for the last, what did you say, 1 to 2 million years, we have been more patriarchal driven. And there's nothing wrong. Okay, nothing. And definitely we could sit here and get angry at it, but that doesn't lead us forward. The Dalai Lama has often been quoted to say that the women are the ones that are going to heal the planet. When we start to embrace our feminine, and that's honestly what COVID represents, because COVID, to heal it, means we all have to heal internally, which is what we're doing now. It's why we're offering this workshop. So what Cheryl was referring to tonight, you might have seen this on our website. We've got a 9-week workshop that starts in March, and we'll tell you guys more about that as we get going. But it starts in March, some Thursdays. We'll tell you about that later on. But it's a deeper immersion into the goddess energy. And today we want to give you some sprinkles so you get an idea. So we're going to use the chat box. So hopefully some of you are on a computer, not just driving. Let's talk. So when you think about your childhood, just close your eyes for a quick sec, do a flash through your life, like flash from birth to now. What were you taught the feminine was? And just start to write. Sharon, Teryl, what were you taught the feminine was? Just start them off. I was taught the feminine was the weak one. I was taught that the feminine stayed quiet. What were you guys taught? Just to help them out. What were you guys taught? And start typing, guys. What were you taught?
She's the over. So go ahead, Teryl.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It was all about, you know, good girls do certain things, and no, we don't do that, and oh no, you can't wear that, and pinks. It was always about the pinks, and it was a completely different thing for me growing up. And no, if I wanted to play with a truck, oh no, you can't play with a truck. No, that's a boy's toy, right? So that's sort of how I was taught. What about you, Sharon?
Well, it was also like overgiving. It's okay to overgive. It's okay to you know, sort of be a servant almost. Like it's okay to keep, you know, keeping everyone happy, right? That was my job. Be responsible, keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
So, these are great answers, because there's a lot of threads here. So here, and this just here, and both men and women, it's affected. Guys, this is how it affects men. If we show up into a partnership with these roles, what the heck? For them, just think about it for them for a sec. So you guys are ready. This is awesome. Inferior, expected roles. This is so great. Submissive, homemaker. This is so awesome, guys. Sorry, guys. I just need to get my computer set up to be able to do this. Submissive, homemaker, not speaking up, emotional, weak. Oh, weak. I know that one. Needing guidance because there's something wrong with us, especially at PMS, right? How many have been
right?
Yeah. Right. We're cooks, but we're not physically as strong as the boys. You guys are awesome. We don't get dirty or play in the mud. We be dainty, right? We're taught that we're not as smart as the men. We had to eat second and do the girls' chores, not to speak up, not be too adventurous. We are not our bodies. Ooh, that's a big one.
We are our bodies.
We are our
Yeah.
bodies. Okay, got it. That's a good one. Yeah, really good.
Huge.
Whew. So when you think about it, guys, these are awesome. Like awesome. This is what's imprinted in our brains. This is what we're handing to our kids. This is what we're teaching even our sons what to expect from their daughters. So until we start to shift, nothing's going to shift. Can you guys see that? Because the way we think affects everything. And that's huge. Somebody wrote, and we have to look perfect and behave perfectly. So is just when you read that and hear that, does it shock you that we have a heavier patriarchal culture and women are still fighting for equal pay? Does it shock you that the majority of like wealth is in the man? Does it shock you that they still, like I was told, well, women, when we're in our rags, we're miserable. Are we shocked that that still exists? And you know who it's up to change it? It's up to us.
Mhm.
And for us to embrace it, we want to start to embrace the feminine, like the actual feminine goddess energy. So right now, Sharon, Teryl, and I are gonna, and I'm gonna get you guys to like close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and just take a few breaths as we go through some traits of the feminine. So I'm going to start to say them, just see what happens in your body. Nurturing. Teryl, what do you got?
Compassion.
Nice. Sharon.
Love.
Yeah. Whole with a W. Whole. Teryl.
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Creative.
Oh, creative. Gifted.
Forgiving.
Forgiving.
Nurturing.
Nurturing. I know we said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Loving. Adventurous.
Passionate.
Accepting.
Magic.
Shame-free.
Ooh, empowered.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flowing.
Grace. So guys, for everyone who's listening to these words, and we might add a few as we go in, what do you feel in your body? And please type it in, what do you feel? What do you notice in your body as we say, and guys, we might add some more where they can't start to come in, but what do you notice in your body? I'll even add strong.
Courageous.
Courageous. What do you notice as we say these words? And I'm asking you, are they going into your body? What are you noticing, guys? What are you noticing? Let us know. Type in. What are you noticing? Oh, love that. She feels calm and loving and supportive. And the word she wrote that really rocked it was energy, because it's in her.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you guys feel?
Oh.
Ooh, I love this one. There are so many good things and attributes in us. Yes.
There's also, I feel, resistance.
Ooh, we'll come back to that. Thank you for seeing that. I didn't see that. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Hope, connected, peace. Awesome. 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 And the piece about resistance, hon, is 100% normal. The person who said that, I'm only not using your name for privacy reasons. That is so normal because, guys, I was never taught that I was powerful. I was never taught that I was forgiving. I was taught that I was the B word, which I won't fill in for you guys. You can figure that one out. I was never taught that I was compassionate and supportive. So the person who typed that in, the resistance is normal because you were taught in your head something different. This other person wrote, she felt strong in childbirth. I have 6 children. Oh, mama.
I love it.
Oh,
And brave.
and brave.
Brave, yeah.
And this is the next piece I want y'all to understand. What she, oh, here wrote, you're driving. Thank you, no problem. Drive, don't type in. That would be bad. So this is what I want you to understand. There are qualities of the feminine that the masculine has decided to go, nope, they don't matter, don't count. And not that the only one, but one of the biggest ones, and it's not the only one, is actually the ability for us to have babies. I recently wrote a blog, and in the blog I was writing that babies have been around forever. It's how we've continued as a population. What's happened is science has taken on baby making as being scientific. And I'm not saying it's not scientific, but to me, baby making is spiritual. To me, having sex is one of the spiritual divine connections you can do. To me, making, like having a child come out of you with like 10 fingers and 10 toes and bones and hair and blood, like, oh my God. If there's nothing more magical than that, and guys, all you need to understand is exactly what Teryl said to us at the beginning, that for 1 to 2 million years, we have been told the opposite. And we have to change this. And we cannot change it by staying mad. We have to change it by embracing our truth. And we have to change it by embracing who we really are. Because when we start to do that, not only will our own lives improve, but our children and the next children, the next children. So before we go into the next exercise, what I really want you to understand is it can be really daunting to actually uncover what we're taught as feminine. And there's a lot of junk there. But the beauty and the grace is about embracing the truth, and not about not making men wrong, because they're struggling as well. I can't tell you how many men clients I work with who feel like, I've got to provide, I'm a bad person, oh my God, right? So they equally feel the pain of patriarchy. So what we want to understand as women and men who are on the call is up to each of us to re-embrace the goddess and the divine feminine. So let's go a little bit deeper. Like Teryl was talking about at the beginning, there's thousands of goddesses out there. And during the 9 weeks, when you work with us in March, April, May, we're going to, it's March, yeah, March, we're going to dive into more, like many different goddesses. And the thing about a goddess is I can use the name of a goddess like Aphrodite or Lakshmi. It's like, yeah, whatever. But what we're going to actually spend a lot of time doing, okay, this is the vibration of her. And how do we feel her and bring her into our lives? So one we're going to work on a little bit today is the mother. The mother goddess energy is a very important one because our first exposure on the planet to femininity is your mom. Got it? So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of our stories we have around mothering, whether it be us being a mother or whether it being received by a mother. But first, we're going to be talking about what it was like in our childhood with our mother. Okay. So each of us are going to share a little bit, but we're going to talk about, so let's teach this. So everything on the human planet, most of you know this, is opposites. Okay. Hot water, cold water, rich, poor, wealthy, not, I just said that, the opposites. Got it? And so for everything, there's an opposite. Got it? So we're going to be talking about what the qualities of the mother are. And then we talk about the qualities of like not the down qualities, but more they're called shadow, the shadow energies of the mother. Now, here's the deal. You cannot heal the shadow without putting a light on it, without going, oh yeah. So I'll give you an example of the shadow mother that I have is I'm a martyr. And I'll give you an example. So the three of us met on the call at 5 o'clock just to kind of gab and chat and catch up. My son has basketball at 6 or whatever. So my husband was driving him, not a big deal. But then at 4:35, we both walked to the house together about 3:15. I ran into him outside, walked to the house together at 3:15, all gabbing and whatever, chatting, the three of us. And then, we're all munching a bit on food and whatever. And then at 4:35, he knows I have to help on the computer at 5. He goes, Mom, can I call DoorDash? And I went, and I was like, DoorDash? Why? We have a full fridge. He goes, because I'm hungry. He times it perfectly, right? 4:35, right? So I'm like, dude, I'll make you food. And I don't eat meat, but he eats a lot of meat. So I'm making him something with meat. And I have to read the recipe because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm making a mess of it now. So there's 2 options right now. Mother, love, feed my kid before his basketball game. Mother, love, or martyr, I'm pissed off. Can't believe you did this 4:36. What do you do? Do you guys see it? And so I had a choice right there because my default is to go into the martyr. My default is to go into perfectionism because that's what I was taught. But if I didn't know that, I'd go there automatically. See how it works? Because that's how my brain is functioned. So you guys are going to think for a second, and we're going to help you out. We're going to share our own stories so what was the experience you had with us from getting from your mom? What was the positive and what was the shadow? So Sharon, Teryl, what were your guys' experience, just to help them start thinking?
Okay, so I was raised by my grandmother, who was extremely loving to the point where she would suffocate, right? So she was loving, she was supportive, but God forbid if I tumbled off my pedestal that she put me on, right? So here was the positive, that she loved me so dearly, but in order for me to be the perfect little girl, she had to control. So those are the 2 dynamics that I got from her. Now, what is interesting in my own parenting, and we talked about this briefly again earlier, Same sort of situation. London is a carnivore. I'm not so much of a carnivore. And she knew I had this meeting and she had a hockey practice and she wanted me to make her bacon. She tells me at the last minute, I said, I don't have time to do this right now. And she's like, well, then what am I supposed to eat? And same thing. Well, the fridge is filled with food. What do you want to eat? So we go through this. Then I tell her she has to go early because we have to come back to teach. And I take her there early and I go, okay, honey, there you go. I hope everything's going to be okay. She goes, well, and here is the martyr from like my grandmother. She said, well, I guess it'll be, except for the fact that I'm going to be so bored and all by myself waiting for everybody else to show up. Same thing. I could have gone into the anger, all of that, but instead I kind of shrunk back, let her go. Everything was fine. And then was texting right away to make sure she was okay. So again, you see, it's like you give, and balance. It's like you say, two sides. Sharon.
I'm Sharon shares. Why don't you guys start typing? What
Yeah.
were you exposed to? What was the positive and what was the side that you're like, ooh? Sharon, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was great. Like she baked everything from scratch. Everything was homemade. Everything was, you know, like our family was a lot about the food and she I mean, you know, there was everything, home baked buns, home baked everything from scratch. And I loved it. And there was that part of her though, that there was a right way and a wrong way to do things. And even in the cooking, in the cleaning, in how you wash the dishes, in how you vacuum, everything, there was a right way and a wrong way. And I find myself doing that. I have to catch myself with Bob. I have to, like, I just now redo the dishwasher because he never does the dishwasher the right way. So instead of getting mad at him, if it bothers me, I just redo it, right? I'll just move the cups or I'll move the whatever. But before, there was that part of me from my mom who would have to shame and blame him, right? I'd have to say, did you see what you did again? Oh my gosh, that fork is supposed to go this way. And I would like literally, pull him by the ear and show him and point because that's what, my mom did, right? It was like, you had to see it. You had to be wrong and shamed and blamed. And that one's a really hard one to let go of, but I catch myself now. And what helps me a lot is stepping into that, okay, letting go, just allowing, nothing's wrong. And it is an energy that I have to really bring in on a daily basis. I'm embarrassed to say on a daily basis.
It's absolutely perfect because guys, this is how it works. The things we call TV and Hollywood, sorry, Teryl, they reinforce these things. Teasing you. These things get reinforced by us. Because what is the mother, for those of us who are older like ourselves, leave it to Beaver. That mother was the martyr. She was the perfectionist. She had the OCD, the obsessive compulsive. These guys are the shadow side of mothering. You guys see that? Let's talk about what mothering is. Think of planet Earth. Go ahead and close your eyes for a sec. Think of planet Earth. Think of the earth as loving and nurturing and supportive. Truly unconditional love. Forgiving. Sending love. And just breathe into those. Can you feel them in your body? And just stay in those energies of the Divine Mother. And just breathe in and out. In and out. And if you stay in this nurturing energy of the mother energy of Earth, this is the energy of motherhood. And just start to notice how this feels in your body. You'll notice it's very whole and very complete. And you'll also start to notice that I'm going to give you some words that are going to sound a bit harsher. There's no martyr. There's no perfectionism. There's no guilt-inducing. There's no narcissism. There's no you've got this wrong. There's no perfectionism. Can you feel the difference? And people would say that those shadow qualities are only there because we have taken an approach to motherhood that's very heavy and very right and wrong, and it's not whole and loving. So until we can heal our own guilt, we cannot heal for our children. we cannot forgive our mothers, and the cycle will continue to perpetuate. Go back to Mother Earth's energy before you open your eyes. There you go. Feel her love. There you go. Loving and nurturing and forgiving. Good, good. And caring. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. How did that feel? What are you guys coming up with? Somebody just wrote in. So go ahead and type, guys. Feel free to, like, a big part of female work, guys, is being vulnerable, which is why we're not sharing names. That's why your videos are tiny. Okay. So be vulnerable. Like, we both share from a vulnerable place. Oh, people are writing. You guys are faster than I am.
Yeah.
So let's start reading. Cheryl, do you help me out here? Sharon, do you help me out?
Yeah. So
Yes.
positive. My mother pioneered as a woman moving up into management in the 70s. Lots of males resenting her, but she persevered. On the other hand, she was a battered woman for 10 years of that. Admire her, but hated her.
Let's just hold that for a second. Let's talk about some of these as we go. I got goosebumps and everything.
Yeah.
For women, this is such a, it's sad, but it's a reality. The battered woman syndrome. You know how that stops? Is we embrace our truth. There's an energy that we'll work on during the 9 weeks called Kali. The goddess Kali is like, no, no. And when you hold that in your body, that will never happen. But we need to all bring it in. And it breaks my heart that happened to your mother. It breaks my heart. But once we start to embrace the feminine, embrace all the goddesses, then we can stop that cycle of pain. And thank you so much for sharing that, because that's such a true story. What else is there?
Here's one. Mom was kind of a typical German housewife, looking after his kids, caring a lot, being kind, and of course, cooking, mending, cleaning. But it got too much for her with 6 little kids. And I remember she was tired and sick a lot. Then Grandma took over, and Grandma unfortunately criticized my mom for not keeping a clean enough house. And as the oldest, it then quickly fell on me to look after the little ones. So I have that caring in me as well.
And so we can see how that what Sharon described, that perfectionism trickled down from grandmother to mother to oldest child. And then it creates OCD and fear and anger. And how we heal this is we heal it through forgiveness, which is something we're going to be working on through the 9 weeks a lot. And we all think we forgive him, but man, oh man, forgiveness is a journey. And the ultimate forgiveness comes from whenever generations go back that thought we had to be perfect, or thought we even did it wrong by filling the dishwasher wrong. Right? The fact that you even have a vacuum is huge. The fact that you even know how to turn the damn thing on, it's huge. But do you see how this woman's story is the opposite? It's like, no, you got to know it all. Right? What else is there?
Someone wrote, I let it go a lot. I've been blessed with a great teacher, which is amazing. And then another one wrote, super independent, career trailblazer, successful mother, which I am proud of and learned a lot from. On the other side, not maternal, not around, not patient, very stressed. So I overcompensated by being easy to care for. So dimmed my light to make things easier for her.
Let's just
talk.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Well, I was just going to say, I just cleared the other day. I was working, somebody was working on me, and I cleared a whole bunch around feeling like a burden, right? Because our moms had so much on their plates and so much going on that we didn't want to add to it. We didn't want to be the one that kind of tipped it over, right? So we played small, we stayed quiet, we tried not to be a burden. And so then now, how does that show up, right? Not wanting to be seen or heard, not stepping into our power. And again, that's where the Kali, Lakshmi, that energy, right? To embrace who we really are and allowing ourselves to be seen and heard.
And what I keep seeing in the woman who wrote that out about this, and it's not using your name for privacy, super independent career blazer. This is her mom, successful, proud. But the side of not being maternal, what I keep feeling in her energy and the mom's energy is almost like a fear to step into the feminine, because there was like a chasing for the masculine, which boy, girl, can I relate to, right? Mm-hmm. But then we can't step into the feminine because we honestly can't do both. And so it's forgiving and healing that fear will then forgive the trickle down effects. It's actually, I just keep seeing a picture also, it's the generation before, and I think you know that. It goes back. So yeah. What else is there? My mom always tried to be positive, but on the other side, this is so common, didn't deal with things and emotions. There are so many women who don't deal with emotions because why? Because we're taught that emotions are wrong.
And we're not supposed to feel them.
Exactly. And emotions are the magic behind femininity. As women, we are sorcerers. We are goddesses. We create magic. We create life, which a lot of people go, yeah, whatever. We would create milk out of our boobs. Like, seriously, guys? Like, seriously. A lot of people go, yeah, whatever. But it isn't yeah, whatever. It's the biggest form of grace and divine magic on the planet. And if we can do that, what else can we do that, like Teryl was saying, for 1 to 2 million years has been suppressed? So just think about it for a second. What would happen as we start to embrace our goddess energy? Well, there's a couple more. Sorry. You don't want to grab those?
Did we get Serena's positive, so loving, warm, and kind? Negative is the lacks healthy boundaries and overgives to the point of exhaustion. Yeah.
Next one, my mom was a force of nature. Hard work, fiercely devoting to her kids. Oh shoot, did I just lose that? No, devoting to her kids. Italian and spicy, and empowered her daughters that we could do anything. She pushed to do our best and meet our high standards. Each excel in our own area of interest. This is awesome, but has to have strict morals and my eyes are
And close. Do you want me to
Close.
close?
No, it's closed Catholic, my own eyes. Closed Catholic mind towards sex. So that's hilarious. Naked body. This is great. Believes sex outside of marriage would result in hell. Even getting change in a public change room was too risky. Guilt around embracing sexuality. So as much as there was some positive stuff, you see how heavy that is on your lower chakras. Like I just feel that in your first and seventh chakra, it's like being a woman is wrong. Right. And I think a lot of us can relate to sex does not happen. Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for typing that in. That is so real, that last one. Ooh.
Or the guilt that goes around with sex, right? Like it's
Wrong
like
with.
guilt.
Do it to make kids and nothing else. Like, guys, just think for a second. How crazy is this? How crazy is this? Like, think of the imprinting to men. Do they have this? No, not to the level we do as women. And that's the point of tonight's class, is for you to understand how deep this goes. What else is there? I know I'm behind.
On one hand, was given many responsibilities and had high expectations, but that also involved fear of letting go and allowing me to be an individual.
So true.
That's squelching again, right? Of the voice and
Keeping
being
up.
true to who you are.
Totally. And that brings me to, one of the most common, like, first off, most of you guys know as a physician for years, most chronic illnesses run in women. Do you guys know that? In my world, illness is mind, body, emotions that we've suppressed. Okay. Why do majority of illnesses run in women? Have you listened to the last 40 minutes? And what's one of the other very common illnesses? Thyroid, which Teryl was just talking about. That's all about vocalization, all about speaking. This next one is, tell me if I'm behind.
My mother, that's the next one.
Go ahead. My mother and I had a contentious relationship. Oh, can I relate to this one? We never had a chance to heal that because of the time. And we'll be working on that in the 9 weeks. We'll explain how in a second. I was old enough to do so. She already had begun to show signs of dementia. And the person who had been my mother disappeared. So I hope this helps what I'm about to say. The person who typed this in, thank you so much. In the 9 weeks, we'll be spending, and this happens to a lot of women. My mom is actually having some dementia right now, so I totally can relate. You can help heal a lot of that stuff when you work in the level of souls. And we'll be doing a lot of that in the 9 weeks. Because I can't go up to my mom and say, you were a martyr and drove me friggin' crazy, right? But I love you and forgive you. I have to work with her soul. And we'll be teaching you guys that in the 9 weeks. And then the last one was dimming my own light and exuberance so others feel better about themselves. Oh, do I know that?
Yep.
Right.
That's huge.
Those are awesome shares, guys. So awesome. So you can see how deeply this stuff goes, right? And the whole idea of tonight's class is for you to understand some of the wounding. And in a minute, I'm going to hand it to Sharon, who's going to take us into a meditation. But this is the crazy thing. All of this wounding can be healed. Because nothing that we have on the planet that cannot be healed with something that's on the planet. I'm not talking about mushrooms, though they're great too. But I am talking about using our natural God-given talent of love as women and men, of the goddess energy, of the grace, of the divine feminine, because when you touch it, whoa, and I'll give you a small example. So we were working with the Divine Mother on the weekend workshop we did in person. And I don't know if you guys know, but after I teach, I am like I am like so tired. It's not even funny. I'm like, give me a blanket and I'm not going to move for 24 hours. And I literally become like this 2-year-old girl. And my son always knows that's the perfect time to get me up for money. Perfect. Can I have your credit card? He knows me too well, right? So he pulls it on Saturday night when I come home. Mom, I'm going out with some friends. I've run out of cash. Can I have $100 for that? Right? There's inflation. It used to be 20, now it's 100. Anyways, so he hits me up, and I is normal because I'm so tired. But I brought in the Divine Mother. I brought in that feminine energy. It's like, Boo, and I call him Boo. I love you so much, and you're the best kid in the world. And the answer is no. And for the first time, because I had Divine Mother's energy in me, he didn't argue. He didn't argue. He's like, okay, Mom, I'll see you later. Because I brought in the Divine Mother, which is what we worked on Saturday. So it was fresh in me, right? But until I teach him that, he'll always be in the other behavior. So I hope that gives you examples of how we can apply this to our lives, right?
Love it.
Sharon.
Awesome. That was great. And it's so funny because listening to all this and reading these, I realized that I never saw my mother cry. I never saw her cry the whole time growing up. And we often talk about how men don't cry, but it also, I made me realize that it wasn't really acceptable for the women to cry. Like, she had to hold in whatever emotions she was feeling too. So that was just an interesting aha as I was listening and reading all these things. So thank you everyone for sharing, because as we're teaching, we're always learning from you. So thank you. All right. So we're going to do a meditation, and in the meditation, I'm going to invite you to bring in your divine support team. And I just want to explain what I mean by that. So divine support team is just any of the angels, archangels, spirit guides, ancestors, or anybody that kind of you bring in to tune into to support you. And if you don't do that normally, then just allow and feel, sense, see whoever shows up, because I can tell you that they will, just as we bring them in. Okay. So if that language doesn't mean anything to you, just be open to whatever happens. All right. So getting comfortable. Just closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths in, breathing in, breathing out, allowing your body just to relax. And letting go of any tension, anything that discussion brought up, just letting it go. Surrendering into the moment. Breathing in, breathing out. And just allowing a beautiful light from above to come in through your crown chakra at the top of your head. And allowing that light to move down into your third eye, the center of your forehead, between your eyes. And feeling it move down into your throat chakra. Allowing it to move down into your heart chakra. Down into your solar plexus, just above your belly button. Down into your sacral chakra below your belly button. And allowing it to move down into the root chakra at the base of your spine. Letting it flow down your legs, your feet, and out the root chakra, down into the center of Mother Earth. Really allowing yourself to send that light down into Mother Earth and to feel her energy, her vibration, connecting, grounding. Maybe you even feel your feet grounding into the earth, like roots coming out of your feet. Feeling that support, that love. Mother Earth. Now just knowing that she's sending her love and light back up. This light filling you with vitality coming up through your feet, your legs, through your root chakra. Filling every cell in your body. Beautiful healing light. Now just imagining yourself walking in nature. Somewhere that feels safe. Somewhere you enjoy. As you're walking, you feel your feet on the ground, connecting to Mother Earth. Maybe you notice the air on your skin, maybe the warmth of the sun. Maybe you hear the birds. Maybe there's an ocean nearby, noticing what you hear. And you see beautiful colors. Just feeling calm, feeling peaceful. And as you walk through nature, you notice ahead of you, up ahead in the horizon, beautiful light. Just as you're walking towards the light, you see and notice these light beings waiting for you. And as you approach, you notice your divine support team. And you may know who they are, or you may just sense, feel, and see that they love you and are welcoming you. Stepping forward, joining this circle of your divine support team. Feeling that sense of peace and calm. Feeling loved and supported. And welcoming them into this space. Now you notice the goddesses have arrived. Maybe there's one, maybe two, maybe there's 10 or more, but you notice the goddesses have arrived. You may not be able to name them, but you see, feel, and sense them. That energy of unconditional love, courage, creativity, compassion, abundance, that energy of just letting go and surrendering. Just feeling their presence, welcoming it in. Whatever that looks like for you. As you look around, you notice that one of the goddesses steps forward. And she comes to you with a gift. Receive that gift now. See it, feel it, know it. Receive that gift. And just thank her. As you look down into your hands and see this gift, maybe it's a symbol, maybe it's a word, maybe it's a feeling. Receive that gift. Acknowledge all of the goddesses around you and your divine support team. Just taking another look around, feeling that love and support, that peace, that calm, the nurturing, compassion. And know that you can step into this energy at any time. You can call upon the goddesses or any particular goddess at any time. They will support you with unconditional love. And just thanking them all, thanking them as you see them walking off into the horizon. You've come back into your body, come back into the room. Start to feel your toes, your fingers, moving your body, and opening your eyes when you're ready. Yeah. That's it. Just move, drink some water, come back into the space. Final words, Divi, Teryl?
Sure. That was beautiful, by the way. Thank you. We're going to move into a Q&A in just a second here, so don't disappear. And comments and talking in a second. Just to thank you all for showing up live, and we will move into question. I'm just going to be stopping the recording on this section, and we'll be talking about our 9-week class in a few minutes, but thank you all for showing up live, and we're going to the Q&A now. Cheryl, do you want to add anything before you go there?
I was just going to quickly read what Lear said because it just
Sure.
it was so beautiful. She said how she loves Kuan Yin, Buddha who shows as a feminine from greatest compassion, which is beautiful. I can see her. She sort of was there with all the goddesses during the meditation. So yeah, thank you all so much, and for being so brave by coming forward and saying what you're saying.
Totally. And let's move into Q&A, so don't disappear yet. Don't disappear.
Don't disappear.
Don't go away.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you too, because it was really such a rich conversation. So thank you for showing up and participating. And we will be sending out information about the 9-week course as well, but it will be a deep dive every week. And it's fun as well. It's fun to discover these different parts of us, the divine feminine, the goddesses. So I hope you join us.
And I'm just going to read this really quickly. Someone said, I saw Statue of Liberty as my goddess. Yes.
Yeah. She's awesome.
So we'll go to Q&A in a sec. Just quickly about the 9 weeks. I know some people are leaving. Starts in March. And it's
March 3rd.
Thursdays of every March, April, May. So it's 9 weeks. You get all 3 of us as goddesses, but we won't be what's the word? The computer won't be set up like this. It will all be talking and engaging and stuff like that. So yeah, let me just hit record, and then we will get together as a group, and I'll send out the link for the 9-week thing in a second. All right.